All right, Mark Perry, HWC coach. Just got back from a trip from Rome to Russia. Thomas got to avenge a loss to fix, which had to feel good. What were your thoughts on Rome?
I thought we wrestled pretty well. Gilman wasn't feeling his best, and very rare, just kind of a weird deal going on with him. But for him to get tough throughout that day, I knew he wasn't feeling good. For him to get tough and to come through and be, 3 solid competitors, really 4. All 4 of them are former world medalists at age group level or senior level. I thought he did pretty good, And then on the women's side, Ali lost to the Nigerian, who, if you know women's wrestling, she's one of the Olympic favorites. And it's one of those things where she just respected the girl so much. And there can't be a respect factor there. Once she quit respecting her, she kind of kicked the crap out of her. Problem is, when you get down 9-1, it's hard to come back. She comes back and it ends up like a 10-7 match. But I think the big thing is she knows where she's at with the very, very best. Gilman knows where he's at. Kayla knows, and it's in striking distance. It's not like it's like here. They're right here, but that difference, if that respect's there, it goes from here to here at that level. So I think it's just really ironing out their mental state and a couple of technical areas, and they're right there. She ended up bronze. Kayla lost to, I would say, I don't want to say heavy favorite because we're going to beat that girl, but they're probably heavy favorite at the Olympic Games. And she's up 1-0. The girl's on the clock in the second, and she's wrestling that 30-second clock and versus wrestling the match. She's trying to score this push out, this takedown, versus you don't need that push out. All right, it's 1-1. And she was probably 6 inches from getting the push out, and she wasn't going to get it. The girl was kind of floating the underhook, which is just kind of going limp there. They just got a good feel in that zone area. So we tried to force something, which instead of just giving up the 1, it's 1-1. And then you still got a minute and a half to get a push out, and you're only 6 inches away. But she tried to wrestle that clock. She knew there was only about 4 or 5 seconds left. She tries the limp arm. The girl feels the limp arm, floats it into a single. Now we try to switch. She locks up a cradle and packs it. So that one was hard to swallow because I just want to see how that last 90 seconds was going to unfold with the best girl on the planet. But the good thing is we know we're right there. We were there. We're there in that match. So I felt really good about Rome. Obviously, you won 3 gold medals, but you're wrestling the very best on the planet. And there was nothing like, let's not hit that person at the Olympic Games, and those are the best. So we're right there, and we got, whatever. We got to focus on making the team first, but felt pretty good about it.
Now we'll jump to Jurgen Forrest. I talked to her just a little bit ago. She said her first match, she just straight up wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
But she came all the way back to get bronze. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
I think her first. This is her first year up a weight. And when you're jumping up 6.5 pounds, it's like losing 6.5 pounds. It's tough. It's tough to put on 6.5 pounds in a short time period. Where, she can weigh it, but putting on the right weight. She's had a pretty good year. She dominated the U.S. Open, pinned everybody in the whole tournament in the first period, I want to say. And then I kind of put that first match on me a little bit, even though it's her. Sometimes I do this with athletes. I'm pretty good at building them up, feeling good about themselves, confidence. I think she felt like she was a little immortal going in there, just I'm going to run everybody over. And that's how she wrestled. She just wrestled reckless. It kind of like, if I compare it to something like DeSanto wrestling Gross at Midlands. That just wasn't a good performance for DeSanto. He wrestles that match. I just feel like he's going to dominate that moving forward. He's just going out there trying to kill him versus not staying in position. You still got to wrestle smart. You still got to wrestle sound. He wrestled sound here in the dual meet. He wasn't all over the place. She wasn't getting her legs back. She was swinging for the fences, trying, almost like a fight, trying to knock her out versus just stay in there and wrestle hard. Wrestle hard, but don't wrestle reckless. You can wrestle with a calm chaos. You can't wrestle with chaos.
So what's up next for HWC wrestlers?
Right now, for me, the main focus obviously is everyone, but the dialed in is next Friday. Allie Reagan's wrestling Helen Morales, so that's a big match that's as big as it gets, for us in the women's side. And the winner of that will wrestle Jenna Burkett 2 out of 3. Just the system's kind of goofy, and with USA Wrestling on how people get us set out, from a year's results a year ago. But Jenna's sitting at the top, and Helen and Allie will go first match. So, not taking anything away from Jenna, but we got to focus on round 1 with Helen. So excited about that matchup.
So the big talk today before the Iowa State duel is Jay Nyer.
Yep.
Have you had your chance to get your hands on him, and what are your impressions of Ironman?
Yeah, he's with the club, and he's a character. He's a character. We love him. We want characters around this program. He's a lot different than the mold of what people, I guess, that don't know Iowa wrestling, put everyone as robots and this and that. He's a funny dude. He's wild style of wrestling. And really, some people are like, this was the worst place for him to go, for his style and this and that. Here's the thing. His style, it's just like Forrest. Forrest was a scrambler just like me. To get to the next level, he needs to become more fundamental in his style. And I use David Taylor as an example because he was, kind of all over the place with his wrestling, and he became a lot more sound as a freestyler. It took him 4 or 5 years, even Dake. I know these guys are all-time greats, but if you look, it took them 5-6 years on that senior level before they got to where they're at now. They didn't make teams for 5-6 years. So I think for Ironman, this is the perfect place. His basics need to get better. And when I compare Tom and Terry, and this sounds goofy, but to like a Floyd Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather's basics and fundamentals are what make him one of the greatest of all time. Their basics and fundamentals of Tom and Terry Brands, they're probably the best maybe ever. Maybe not as good as Fadzayev or somebody, but right there, it's it's close. It's a close one. And I think for Ironman, that's what he needs, is to sharpen up, just getting his legs back and, learning to stay in there, control the ties against the best in the world. And that's what guys, like when I look at Taylor and Dake, who can do it all, that's where they've improved so much, is they're fundamental and they're basic first, and instead of just letting a guy on your leg, they're getting off, and then if they get to your leg, that scramble and that angle of that scramble is drastically different than if you just let someone. Ironman will just let Frankie Molinaro on a high crotch. Well, you don't let Frankie Molinaro on a high crotch. You got to get off that shot, and then if the scramble comes, the angle's different, so the scramble's different.
You guys in the Hawkeye Wrestling Club room have the top 2 57-kilogram wrestlers in the U.S.
Yeah.
How is that?
It's awesome.
What is that like? Is it weird or?
No, the thing is people make it weird because we're like a clickbait society in wrestling, and the way I look at it is for us, and I'm sure Tom and Terry would say the same thing, if we could have the best 5 guys at every single weight, that's a perfect scenario. I'm just knock on wood. I'm hoping that those 2 meet in the finals of the Olympic trials, and we got a Hawkeye going to the Olympics. That's the thing is, and I look at Japan on the women's side. I've learned a lot about kind of stuff like that, and Russia on the men's side is, you look at their finals of their senior nationals or the Urigan, and it's the Dagestan. It's like they're all from Dagestan. They're all from the same club. It's the same thing. They're wrestling each other off for world and Olympic spots, and they're not making a big deal about it. Yeah, it stinks that their best friend or one of their good friends doesn't get to go to the Olympics. The same with the Japanese women. We went up there. There's one school, and it's cadet, junior, senior, and they're not 5 deep. They're 20 deep. You know, their national tournament 1 to 20 is all in the same, you know, program and at every single weight. So for the most part, we just make it more than it needs to be in our society, you know, and our guys, they're handling it, you know, well. Again, is it stink? Yeah, but I mean, for us as coaches, I mean, I'm praying you know, they got to go make it happen. I hope they make the finals. Then a Hawkeyes going, and I'm sure Russia's very similar in Japan. I hope that Dagestan club, they want those guys in the finals against each other. Then somebody's representing them. Same with Japan. So we need to have more weights. You know, that would be the good thing. It'd be nice if we could do that at every weight.
Is there a lot of recruiting that goes on in like RTCs? We just saw Snyder move, Cox move. Is that more of a recruiting thing or just the athletes saying, I need to change?
It's changing. It's definitely changing. You know, the thing about it is kind of weird is it's the pros. You know, it's the major leagues. It's the NFL. So, except there's no contracts. So at any time, if somebody, some you know, donor from Iowa comes up and says, hey, I'll give X amount of dollars to go get this person, you can go get them at any time. You know, and if it's kind of the wild, wild west, you know, right now, which is it a good thing or a bad thing? I don't think it's a bad thing. You know, I think what we got to continue to do is get inner circle members, get big donors involved, keep raising money, and the possibilities are really, there's no limit. There is no limit. So
new facility coming up.
Yeah, I mean, things are looking good. But yeah, I mean, there's really no rules. I mean, hypothetically, we could go get Jaden, Cox, Taylor, you know, all of them if you know, got to take care of them. And the thing is any good athlete, there's a lot of attention that has to go into it. You know, there's only so much attention that can go around.
Do you think NCAA wrestling will ever go freestyle?
No, I hope not. But no, I don't think so. It doesn't need to. That's our history, you know. That's our history. That's our culture. We've done fine with you know, for however many years. We're doing, you know, would we be better? Absolutely. But would I change it? No. It's just, that's our history. That's who we are, you know. And would I maybe make some rules that you know, bring it closer to freestyle? I mean, the push out needs to be added. You know, I love the push out. I don't like stalling. I love the push out though, because it forces you to engage and wrestle. People that don't understand that don't really understand wrestling at a high level technically is a guy. They asked me if DeSanto, how would you be? I mean, when someone has to engage versus walk out of bounds or you know, play the system, more wrestling happens. That fireman's is going to be there a lot more. You know, his fake snap, his fake elbow pass, his sweep single, they're going to be there a lot more when a guy has to push back into you versus, you know, kind of play the edge and that kind of stuff.
Big duel tonight, 1 versus 2. How's it going to play out?
I know we're going to get it done. You know, there's a respect for what they have, and for me, it's just the talent. You look at the talent of those guys. They're world champions, and they're the best kids in high school. I mean, they're the best kids. They're not out here coaching, developing a lot of, you know, guys from nothing to something. You know, you're getting guys that were world champions. I mean, guys that they have the wow factor. But the problem is, no, we have that wow factor, you know, and we have a lot of good guys. So this is what is exciting. Like, these guys, this is not anybody on either side's team. It's not their first. This is not their first rodeo. You know, this is going to be fun. These are high-level guys. These are high-level guys. A lot of these guys will be contending for world and Olympic medals down the road, and a lot of them already are. You know, a lot of them are already there. So it's going to be a heck of a duel. I can't see how they win this duel, but at the same time, when you got that level of talent, anything's possible.
Last question. If you could be in the shoes of one of the Hawkeye wrestlers today and tonight, current wrestlers for the Hawkeyes, who would it be and why?
I mean, I'd probably say 65 or 74. You know, that's where I'd want to be. I mean, that you want to wrestle the best, and those are two great. Those are two all-time great Penn State wrestlers. You know, 84 is a good one. It's two young guys that, hey, where's their careers going to go? What are those two guys' careers going to look like 4 years from now? You know, again, Aaron Brooks had a much better career throughout high school, but Abe's had a really good start, you know, to his true freshman year. So I'm curious to see where that goes, but 74, 80, 65, 74, those are really exciting matches, number one versus number two, and just knowing their history, these guys are winners on both sides. I mean, that's a championship fight. Those are pay-per-view matches right there, you know.
I appreciate you taking the time, Coach.
Yep, you bet. Thank you.